You're probably have turned off your video. I'm still on Stack. I'm going to open my browser and redo the forum front. To the live now.
See, we went to 7 people.
Oh yeah, already, huh? Okay.
Well, we had 6
Yeah.
participants. Now there's 7, right?
Okay, good. Good.
I'm just noticing you added a picture
To what?
to the front page of
Really?
guests. Yeah.
Oh
Now
yeah,
there's
last night when I was apologizing to what's his name, Kerry, that I had not used his picture that I already had, but he got rather warm, according to Jackie, over that failure. But she said he would be okay.
okay, okay. So I'm coming in with my other device.
Okay, I hear that.
Heard that. Unverified. So I am in there twice.
Oh, you are on the same address? That's
No,
bad.
I
You
don't
may
think
see yourself double now.
so, but I am different. I am Shay, lowercase CHE,
Oh, okay.
and then I am also Shay Abdullah.
Okay, very
Both of
good.
them. Do you see them, Steve?
Just a minute. I'm working on the front of the website to be sure it works. And yes, it does. And so now I'll turn off Firefox, come back to the meeting. And I see two of you. Yes, Shay Abdullah and Shay. Laura McCletty sends me a message that says, GM, good morning. Hope all is warm. Mary needs to be in the room with us to help read questions. I wasn't able to reach Winston, so it should be me, Jackie, Mary, Nathalie, and whoever else you think should be. And I'm going to respond to her. All of those people you mentioned have received directions. If they can't do it, they'll call me.
Including Winston, right?
He was up at 2 in the morning, you noticed.
Yeah, I think it looks awesome though. I mean,
I haven't looked at it yet.
yeah, I'll
Oh,
take it. I just gave it a quick once over.
okay, so Shay is on my big screen, I mean in the big picture, but there's no picture.
And when you started talking, you came onto my big screen.
Oh,
Right
good. Well,
now,
then don't change anything. Okay,
so
fine.
right now, what I see on my second device is the big screen with lowercase CHE on it.
Yes, that and I see that as well.
And now I see you.
Okay, well, that works. Okay. So
So you
now
don't
go
see
ahead.
yourself though, right?
Yeah, oh yeah, I need to change myself. Let's see. I'm going to change my name to Steve.
So when you're
Um,
talking, do you see yourself?
no, because
No.
I started the meeting. I think that's the reason.
Okay.
That's a vague memory on my part. So I'm changing my name to Steve.
Steve, Mary says she could hear us on the live feed.
Well, good. Good, Mary. Come on in, Mary. This is going to be a very informal morning, Mary. Everything's going to go to Australia. Well, that shut us up, didn't it? Okay. So any other pieces that we are missing?
I feel like we're good. And then whatever. We'll
Okay,
just
I will take a moment to get the other Mac not in the room, but just watching to be sure that I can verify that the live stream is working. And that should not put me into the room a second time.
Steve, I'm just checking to see which
See,
is
that's the
which. Let
problem
me
of
put
having two microphones on at the same time.
Good morning, everybody. I just wanted to make sure I was able to get in. Is it okay if I stay in or?
Please, please do.
Okay,
Well,
all right.
introduce yourself.
Okay, this is Mo Drayton. And what I'm going to do, I am going to go ahead and put you all on mute and I'm going to walk away
Wonderful.
and finish doing what I need to do for the morning. But
Thank you.
I wanted to make sure I could get in with no issues.
Good. Glad
Okay.
you did that.
Okay, thank you. Hey, Shay.
Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
Steve Mary has confirmed that it all seems to be working.
Good. Good. Okay, I have my other Mac on and it's not in the room. At the moment, the latency, the time between real movement and that movement showing up on the live
Hey, Steve,
stream,
I stepped away. What'd you say?
the latency, the time between movement in real time and showing up on the live stream is about 26 seconds right now.
That's longer than normal.
Yes, that's why I told you. This will be an abnormal day.
The good news is that on the front end, they won't see that. We'll just be dealing with it back here.
Right, exactly. Well, and the speakers will be dealing with it. And that's why that note said, don't watch. Don't watch the live stream on another tab or another browser because they'll get confused. Or at least I would get confused.
That means they will too. So that one did.
turning off browser, but the box on the top left of the website is going now directly to the page where the live stream is running.
Great. And Laura's here now as well. So Steve, the setting is right? You're going to maintain host presenter.
No, you're running the show.
Right.
You make whatever changes you want to make. That's great.
All right. So
I really appreciate you doing it.
Well, we got to make those changes.
That sounds like Miss McCluddy.
Yeah, I'm trying to. I showed.
We see your picture
I'm
now.
seeing my picture now.
Yeah. Yep.
And
Much better. Steve, you may see if you can make me the presenter.
Which of you?
Do the Shea Abdullah.
Okay.
I changed the other one to facilitator.
I have made you presenter.
Okay. Also make me host, please.
Make you host. Make you host. Make host. Okay. Yes.
Okay.
You transferred the host to Shea Abdullah. Ms. McCluddy, if you have any stock pick bid advice for Australia, now is the time.
okay.
Spit it out, Laura. I need it. I need to know.
Don't have any. They big secrets.
But thank you for speaking, because that assures us that the speaker takes over the main part of the browser real estate when they're speaking. And
Are you seeing that now?
Huh?
Are you seeing that now? Steve?
Yes,
I'm seeing back and forth between Laura and the facilitator. You've lost your name, sir, but that's okay.
He's down there. He hasn't verified. He's unverified.
Yeah, I think we're all going to be unverified today.
Oh, really?
Oh, really? Can you
Okay.
can you verify yourself? Maybe we can do that.
I just thought when I clicked on, you unverified me.
No. It's because WebEx doesn't remember any of these email addresses from 5 years ago, it sounds like. But the question is, can we change it? And I don't want to mess things up, but
you guys remember this is all live. Here's Miss Jessica Finkel.
Good morning. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, Jessica.
Morning, y'all.
We're just doing setup here, so you're welcome to turn your camera off and just stick with us. We'll get started at 8:30.
Sounds good.
All right. It is cold. I stepped out this morning early. It is still very, very cold.
Mm-hmm. Bo and I were out in I think 14 degrees. So yes,
Really? Wow.
he has a better coat than I do.
Okay. You
Laura,
know what?
can you adjust your camera
Uh,
just
There,
down a little bit?
there you go.
is that
Yes.
better?
Yeah, just center yourself a little bit better. We're just seeing a lot of ceiling.
Oh, okay.
You can sit on
Let
the
me see.
telephone book if you don't mind.
Sit on what now?
The telephone book, if you still have one. Oh, there you're
That's
great.
perfect, Laura, right there.
Okay.
Perfect.
All righty. Okay, 809 people. Come on here. We need to be on and ready. I got a few questions
Hmm.
uh, that I came up with last night, and I really need to start practicing a little bit more for our forums. It's 8:10, y'all. We said,
Do not expect a large crowd, Miss McCletty.
I, you know, I'm good with with us doing what we're doing.
Yeah.
At least we got our candidates.
Hmm.
That's the main thing, and we would have delivered what we normally do
Yep.
in the comforts of our homes. I talked to a couple of people last night that who called and wanted to know, whether or not we were going to be doing it this morning. I said yes, but check your email,
Hmm.
and you would get explicit instruction.
So, um, one possibility about presenters who do not um, show up is that the emails with instructions got sent to their spam folders or junk. And I don't know quite how to intervene except to call everybody. And I did not have time last night to do that and probably would not have anyway. But that's just FYI. If you're ready for the next presenter and the presenter is not in the room, um, uh, we'll watch to see if we can get them in, but that may be the cause.
Well, I think we have learned over the years how to wing it. when
You
we
you were very good at that, and I don't remember much of anything from that period. This is part of why it's been such a scramble to get this up. So here we are.
Well, I'm glad that you
Shay
Shay,
has the major contributor here to getting
you
this
and
thing
Shay
up.
are orchestrating all of this, which makes it all good. I can't imagine anybody having any problems getting on here. It was easy.
Then I'm going to change nothing. Mary's here. Good morning.
Hey, Mary.
Is it okay if I put a background on?
I don't think it will affect us, but it may affect how much you see on your screen because the backgrounds take up a lot of computer time.
That's what I thought. Okay.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Well, sometime maybe Shay will come back and turn on his background and you'll see what happens to a perfectly handsome man who turns his background on because everything gets a little wiggly around the edges.
Mm. Yeah, that's happened to me a lot when I'm using a background. And also, I have my grandchildren, so I know that I'm not going to be able to keep them contained for an hour and a half. So
No,
I
of course
may
not.
have to be on mute.
Yes, feel free.
Good morning, Mary.
Good morning. I see Monifa is here. Jessica's here.
Yep. Bless you.
Bless you.
Thank you.
Steve, if I need to go off camera, this one says stop video. So that would be like,
That's the one. That's the one.
okay.
The same
Let me
with
see.
mute and unmute.
Yeah, okay.
Bless you, Steve.
I'm going
Bless
to
you.
mute during my sneezing spell here.
Don't worry about it.
Mary, we're live, by the way.
Good morning. Hi,
Hey,
Nathalie.
Natalie.
Phil Carey is here. Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Miss Nathalie, good morning. You're on mute.
Okay, can you hear me now?
We can hear you now.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
Miss Nathalie, I think that you may have to do verbal prompts today.
I may
'Cause
have to do verbal prompts.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so like that says 30
Time.
seconds. You might have to say that out loud because I don't know if people see your screen.
We'll see. The
Steve,
support couldn't hear me.
let's see, who is facilitator down there?
That's me. I'm in here twice.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I'm running the controls. I was waiting for everyone because there are a couple things to keep in mind that are a little bit different than when we're in the room.
Okay.
A lot like passing the microphone and turning it off. Make sure you stay muted unless you're speaking. On the live stream, the person that's speaking should take over the main screen. And I think that's what the audience will see. It's a voice prompt, so it sets up to put whoever's talking on that panel. So if you're not talking, make sure you turn that off and then take a pause in between transfers. And that'll make that transition a little bit smoother. Otherwise, I think things will be the same.
Take a pause between what?
Just transferring. sort of conversations, right? Like if a question's asked, take a second before you answer it. Just try not to talk over each other, basically.
Steve had to tell me, you guys, every time I talk to him, he said, would you please turn your TV down or your radio down? He reminded me of that several times last night.
Jackie has sent a message that she thinks we cannot hear her. And I replied, that's correct. And we cannot see you either. So she may work on that. For those in the room, one thing I do remember from the pandemic is that Nathalie uses a phone to reach us, and she needs
iPad.
an iPad, and she needs to prop it up against something, which meant that for the entire pandemic, she had no chin. But that's just the way it's going to be, and it was before, and now it is, and shall ever be.
Most of the time, I didn't have the picture on anyway.
Correct.
I said, you don't need to see me. Yeah.
Well, we're going to have to see you this morning.
Well, you can
We're
see
going
me.
to be verbal. You're going to do this right. You're going to be verbal. He just tell you to do it.
I'm here. I'm here. And I'm not even at my kitchen table, which is usually where I sit. I should sit there. But I was watching, I use my iPad at night. And I'm a big tennis fan, so I have been watching tennis since 3 a.m.
Wow.
So I have the iPhone plugged in because I ran the battery down watching tennis. And Coco lost. Oh, so I'm sad.
Oh.
Steve, you know how when we could normally see who's on the call when we do Zoom. How do we know, other than you and Shay? I know who I see, and I know that Monifa and Finkel, Jessica are on, and now Adam is on. How do we see or know who's on as we?
So, Miss Laura, if you go down at the toolbar at the bottom, you'll see mute, start video, share, a raise hand, smiley face, 3 dots. Chat. Then you'll see participants, our little icon that looks like a person.
Right.
Click that.
Okay. There we go.
Bam.
Ten people are on, so we're doing good.
Now, the only people that are going to be on are the speakers and the facilitators, right?
Yeah, the speakers and the facilitators. Me, you, Mary, and Jack, and Steve, and Shay. And the rest of them will be our guest. Okay, Morris is on now. Hello, Morris.
Hello, hello. See me. I'm here.
Good morning.
Morning, everyone.
Mr. Morris, you're going to find this to be one of the most informal meetings you've been to this campaign.
I
We,
don't
uh,
know.
we,
But
we, we're going to make this work one way or the other, and let us know if it creates any problems for you. Thank you.
No, I'm fine. Thank you so much for having us.
I don't know. Morris and I were at a house event not too long ago where we were playing with a cat. So I don't know. Do you guys have a cat we can play with today?
There's a possibility that my dog may come in and sit on the bed behind me, but that's about all the animals I can contribute.
I have some grandchildren here if you want to play with them.
I was going to say, I might have a stray child walk into the room here. They canceled school again today. So
Yeah, I have someone who needs to be working on a few assignments myself since they canceled. So it's not it's still technically a school day.
yeah,
I guess I'm the principal
yeah.
today.
I was going to say, it just means more work for us, right?
Mhm. Yes.
That's fine. That's fine. Safety first.
Hey everyone, this is Shay. I'm at the facilitator window. I'll be guiding us through this mission today. Just wanted to give you guys a heads up. We're at 8:25. We'll go at 8:30. Miss McCletty is going to lead us through this journey. Is that correct?
Yes, Mary and I will be facilitating together.
Fantastic. I just wanted to give everybody a few notes. This is definitely a little bit new for us, but I think we've got it worked out. The microphone, the screen is voice activated, so whoever's speaking will be the featured video that will go out to the audience. Because of that, please be mindful of keeping yourself on mute. And when you do speak, give a little pause at the end, remute, and just give a second for the next person to start. Also, when you're picking up a conversation or responding to a question, if you can be mindful of adding just that little sort of 5 to 10 second pause, it should make the whole operation run smoother. I'm in the chat as facilitator as well. If you guys run into any problems, shoot me a note there. Otherwise, I think it'll be like the forum in person. So have fun and bring your A game.
What if you don't have an A game? Can you bring the B?
Now they need to call you, get that worked out.
Steve, have you heard from Jackie?
You sent her some directions on how to get in, and she said okay, but I have not yet seen her or heard back from her.
Okay.
Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
All right. It's about that time.
So we should all be on mute except those speaking, right?
Right.
Yeah. Whenever you're ready, Miss Laura.
Okay. Mine says 8:29. I will get started.
I forgot to mention, do not watch the live feed if you're tempted. It's on a 26-second delay, so it's really going to throw you off.
I noticed that. Okay. Good morning and welcome to the Sarah Stevenson Tuesday Forum. I'm Laura McCletty, one of your facilitators, along with Mary Johnson, Steve Johnston, Nathalie McElrath, who is our timekeeper, and we have our candidates that are with us this morning from District 1, District 2, and District 3. We'd like to start off with a word of prayer. So if you would join me in a word of prayer. Holy One, we come to you today asking for your guidance, wisdom, and support as we begin this meeting. Help us to engage in meaningful discussions and allow us to grow closer as a community. In these blessings we ask in your name. Amen. Some of our other facilitators that will be joining us will be Jackie Edward Walton, Winston Robinson, and Gary Young, along with the rest of us that you see that are sharing with us. Our forum runs normally at the community center, the center, and from 8:30 to 10, and at 9:45, we like to pause for announcements from the audience. And announcements can also be sent to Steve at sjohnson@tuesdayforumcharlotte.org. We usually invite those that are coming in for the first time, so we'd like to welcome those that are viewing us through live streaming and by way of Facebook, and say that we invite you to come to the Belmont Center in the following Tuesdays to visit with us in person. This morning, because of the weather, and we would like to still reach out and recognize our forum members, our forum guests today from the community. We will be only taking questions by way of the link that you will be provided through Sarah Stevenson Tuesday Forum's website. So we're going to introduce or have our members, those that are here this morning as our guests, to introduce themselves. And once they introduce themselves, we would give them 2.5 minutes to just give us, and we're just going to ask particularly those that are running for, that are candidates for the first time, to just help us to know you as a newcomer by telling us why you're running and describe your qualifications and experience for this office and how you will be an asset to our county. So we're going to ask them to, once they introduce themselves, once we go through all of the candidates, we would like to ask you, those that are here for the first time as a candidate, to take note of what I've just asked you to do, so we can go through the rest of our questioning to everyone, and those questions would have been answered because it's usually asked during the process. So with that being said, Mary, have I covered everything? Nathalie, Steve, and Shay?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that being said, and for those that on live stream and through the Facebook, Just make sure you have to type in your questions. So from District 1, we have Jessica Finkel, Morris McAdoo, Adam Paskey. Am I pronouncing your name correctly?
Trying to find the mute button. Pasiak.
Pasiak. Okay, sorry about that. And from District 2, we have Monica Drakeford and Velma Leak. And District 3, we have Phil Carey and George Dunlap. Now, what we would like to do, as I mentioned earlier, is just ask those that are here for the first time running for office to tell us a little bit about who you are and describe your qualifications and experience for this office and how you will be an asset and what are your priorities. So with that being said, I think that Monifa was on first. She was the first one that I saw. So let's start off with Monifa.
All right. Good morning, everybody. And thank you so much to everyone who made this so much easier for us this morning. I'm Monifa Mo Drayton. I have been a resident here in Charlotte since 2000. What makes me, when also I'm running for District 2, what makes me qualified is I have an extensive background over 22 years as a healthcare executive. I had an incredible time throughout my years at Atrium Health. With the county commissioners, we have a public health department that has close to 1,000 employees in it. That's what sets me apart, and that's why I know that there's certain value that I'll add to the county commission. I'll be the only person that has that level of an extensive healthcare background and experience that I'm ready to help add value to our county in that space. And that's what makes me qualified. And it's very interesting to hear when people call me a newcomer or a rookie, because I've been involved in the space of politics for many years. I've been the campaign strategist for Commissioner Arthur Griffin, for Councilwoman Watlington, and so many others. And so I'm not new to this. I've been a part of the political environment for a very long time and just ready to take that leap because I know I'm qualified and I add a very unique skill set that is needed on the county commission at this time.
Thank you. I think Ms. Finkel, Jessica Finkel was second to come on.
Yes, thank you so much and good morning. And thank you for everyone who made this possible today, even despite the frigid weather conditions outside this morning. I decided to run for this office because I have spent years organizing alongside working families, labor unions, faith communities, and grassroots organizations who have been doing everything right, working hard, raising kids, caring for their neighbors, and are still hitting roadblocks from this county government. And one that has really felt distant and hard to navigate. And for myself, from being the secretary of the Charlotte-Mecklenburg NAACP to being the co-coordinator for the Sunrise Movement in Charlotte, I've been on the ground doing the work. For me, this is really the next step in making sure that our communities aren't just banging their heads against the wall, but have the voice that they need to ensure they're getting the funding they deserve. You know, I have worked in environmental justice and labor justice, building websites surrounding the Inflation Reduction Act to make sure that money is getting in community hands, lowering their energy bills, and allowing them to stay in their homes long term. I've worked with youth organizers, making sure that they feel like they have a voice and that just because they can't vote doesn't mean that they can't get involved in local politics. And recently, a few of our organizers got into Michigan and Brown, so I call that a success. But my values don't come from a political textbook or a manual. They've come from organizing through the NAACP, the Sunrise Movement, and Jewish Voice for Peace, real organizing in communities that are facing instability and fighting systems designed without them in mind. And I believe the role of the county is simple in that it's making the budget work for people who live here. And that means investing in housing people can afford, mental health services that show up when they need it, strong public schools, and infrastructure that keeps pace with growth without pushing our long-term residents out. So I'm running to bring that to District 1, to bring District 1's voice to the county decisions, to ask tough questions about where our tax dollars are going and make sure that growth doesn't come at the expense of our community. And I'm glad to be here this morning.
Thank you. I think the next person was Adam.
Awesome. Hey, good morning, everybody from the Tuesday Forum, and like the others, thank you for dusting off WebEx so that we can still have this opportunity to speak and share a little bit about ourselves. I'm Adam Pasiak, running for County Commission District 1. And I think what makes me qualified is similar to many of the other kind of newcomers, and similar to what Mo said, is I don't see myself as a newcomer because I've been out in the community up here in North Mecklenburg for over the past 10 years. Whether it was the chair of the Democrats in North Mecklenburg, building coalitions of Democrat-minded, community leaders and elected officials up here, or co-chair of the Citizen Transit Advisory Group, actually sitting with the MTC and trying to work on plans to making transit more accessible for our folks up here in North Mecklenburg. I've been out in the community advocating and working with those partners to try to build a better tomorrow for our residents. And that's a big part of the county commission, is being out there and getting involved and making sure that every citizen and every community group has a voice with their local government. We're not just the purse holders or the fund keepers for Mecklenburg County. We're facilitators. We work with our local governments. We work with our state governments to make sure that the funding is there. So like Jessica said, so folks in the community have the services, have the access that they need. And that's why my platform's kind of built around access. We need to make sure that our state funds our public schools from MEC pre-K all the way to competitive teacher pay and continued education, so that our workforce is educated and they have that platform for success. It also means that health and human services are accessible for everybody. Quality care shouldn't be dependent upon your income or what zip code you live in Mecklenburg County. Everybody should have easy access to healthcare. And it means protecting the affordability of our neighborhoods, whether it's longtime residents getting pushed out because they can't afford the taxes that they're paying, or it's new residents looking to make Mecklenburg home and just can't afford the rents. So the Mecklenburg County Commission has a big hand in that. And I think my skills of already being a community advocate and my professional skills of contract management and change management, really bring a unique skill set to the county commission. And I'm looking to listen, learn, and advocate with this group because I think a voice that's fair and inclusive means that we can build a better community for tomorrow. So thanks, and look forward to your questions.
Thank you. Morris McAdoo.
Good morning. Thank you so much. And also thank you, facilitators and everyone at the Sarah Stevenson Tuesday Morning Forum, and bringing the issues forward that are important to our community. Stated before, my name is Morris McAdoo. You can call me Mac. I'm running to be the next county commissioner in the #1 district, as I like to call it. I am a practicing attorney. I've been practicing for 20 years as a civil business attorney and as a small business owner. That actually is the foundation and many of the passions that I've developed through the work that I do is the reason why that I'm actually running in this campaign. As we know, um, inequities have been found in various communities that have seen themselves with growth all around it. And that's exactly what's happened when we look at numerous neighborhoods here in District 1. And so part of my job when our current commissioner decided that she was not going to run for another term was to look and see exactly how can I assess the things that I do and the work that I've done in trying to solve problems and listen to people, listen to my clients. I'm working on various numerous boards and organizations here in Mecklenburg County. How could I benefit the people in District 1, other fellow residents who see themselves received numerous promises before, but unfortunately finds themselves in the same situation or not worse. And so that is one of the reasons, or that is the reason, and that is the need. Someone told me before, one of the residents in the Pottstown area reminded me that our service is not where you want to be all the time, it's where you need to be. And so when we look at what's facing when it comes to the unsurety with state and federal funding, when it comes to the legislature even attempting to readdress how we do property taxes, how we assess those property taxes. It requires someone with some experience that's going to make sure exactly that those communities, when I say those communities, a lot of times I do believe when other communities catch a cold, African American communities or Black communities catch pneumonia. That is serious. And so it's important to have someone. I'm sorry.
Excuse me, the time is up. You had 2.5
Oh,
minutes.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
It's okay.
All right. Mr. Phil Carey, I think it's the last new candidate that we have on here. Did you get the question, Mr. Carey?
I did.
And what we're asking, okay. Describe your qualification and experience for this office, and how will you be an asset, and what are your priorities?
Well, real quick, my name's Phil Carey, and I'm running for District 3. I am actually raised in Chapel Hill, North Carolina, and came to Charlotte about 30 years ago with a finance and accounting background, and started working for Arthur Anderson, which is at the time one of the largest auditing and consulting firms in the world. And so that's where a lot of my strength that I've had over these last 30 years evolves from. I do want to say, the Tuesday Morning Breakfast Forum, I've been involved with it for a very long time from the opposite side, all the way going back to when it was at the West Charlotte Rec Center. And so, I've sat and listened and listened and listened and listened, and learned so much from a lot of those Tuesday forums. And I've taken those lessons plus my background, serving as the second vice chair of the MCDP, been on the SEC. I've served on United Way. Mecklenburg County Park and Rec, and right now I actually serve on the Board of Equalization and Review. It's interesting, Mr. McAdoo mentioned that it's our responsibility to make sure that our taxpayers are being treated fairly and their valuations are accurate when it comes to the values of their homes. So that's something that I take very personally and very seriously, and proud to be involved with that. So over these past 30 years, I've been involved in a lot of things, and over the course of those 30 years. And that's why I believe that I'm ready to be more involved, to get out there, get my feet on the ground, and really talk about the issues of District 3. There's a difference between District 3 and at large. And I want to make sure that we are emphasizing that, yes, when the police chief says that crime is down across the county, absolutely. I'm not here to argue that. But I do not want District 3 to be left out and forgotten, because we still have issues in that area. We have issues with displacement, and I don't want us to be left out. And I am prepared to have my feet on the ground, getting into the neighborhoods, talking to the businesses, especially in those higher crime areas, talking to the property management companies of the rental agents of the rentals, to make sure that we are all on the same page and doing right by our citizens of District 3. And I want to make sure that we aren't conflating the issues of District 3 with
Your
those
time's up.
through all of the at-large.
Thank all of you very much. I think that we've gone through all of the new candidates, and at this time, we're going to open up our questions, and we're taking questions online, and we will be reading these questions to you now. Shay, Mary and I are going to need your help on this, on the display of the questions that we'll be asking. And as we ask the questions now, what I like to start off and ask everyone, and how much time do we want to give them for each, for the answers, Mary? Nathalie?
I think we could give them a minute and a half.
Okay.
Or,
Now,
or
we're
two.
trying
We don't have that. What do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, a minute and a half.
okay.
Everybody,
Okay. And this
that's like 9
is
minutes.
for everyone. But thank all of you for sharing this information that we feel like is important, in an new introduction through the Sarah Stevenson Tuesday Forum. I'll start off with a question. And this is just national attention that we're getting on this right now. What role should local law enforcement play in enforcing the immigration laws? So we will start with, let's go with Monifa.
Good morning. And again, thank you so much. So, when we look at what is happening in our country regarding immigration and the enforcement of enforcement of immigrants, it's important to understand the different roles that everyone plays. And so, when you look at Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department, their role, when you call 911, that is what they do. They respond. And so, when you have an issue such as ICE coming in and perhaps carrying out illegal enforcement, you call CMPD and they will come and make sure that things are handled appropriately. So it's important to understand that. Now, the county commissioners who are responsible and have oversight for the sheriff's department, they are absolutely responsible for enforcing. There's a new law, HB 318, that now requires the sheriff's department to align with or to support or to enforce the rules of ICE. That does not mean to go above and beyond, or border control. That does not mean to go above and beyond. That means to enforce what is legally required. And so when we look at what is the responsibility of the local law enforcement, CMPD is not responsible for enforcing or engaging in any activities related to immigration. But the sheriff's department is. And so it's important that we understand the difference and who is responsible for what.
Thank you. Now let's hear from George. George Dunlap. Hey, George. Welcome. George. Okay. We'll hear from Adam.
No, George just got he got to unmute. Tell him to unmute, George.
I see him holding the 1 minute up, so we'll give him a second here.
Okay. All right. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I apologize. Give me the question again so I know exactly what I'm answering.
The question is, what role should law enforcement play in enforcing immigration laws?
Okay, so again, good morning, everyone. Thank you for the opportunity to appear before the Tuesday Morning Forum again. When it comes to the role of local law enforcement and federal law, we have no role. It's just that simple. It's interesting. I spent 27 years as a police officer. And during that time, our responsibility was to develop a relationship with the community, which is why we had community policing. In a matter of 1 week, federal law enforcement people came in and destroyed all the trust that we had built in this community, which is why it's so important that we understand exactly what our responsibilities are. Local law enforcement have no role in federal law enforcement. None.
Thank you. Jessica?
Thank you. I think this is a very poignant question for what's happening in our society today and what has happened in Mecklenburg County as a whole. And at the end of the day, I truly believe that the role of local law enforcement is to keep people safe, not to act as immigration agents. So when police are used for immigration enforcement, it erodes trust, especially in immigrant and mixed status families. And people stop reporting crimes. Witnesses disappear, victims are afraid to seek help. And this truly makes everyone less safe. In Charlotte and in Mecklenburg County, we saw our communities come together and protect their neighbors, protect their friends, protect their families. And I think that the police and our sheriff's department can do the same. They should be focused on community-based public safety, making sure officers are trained to serve those communities, that language access is available so that they can properly communicate with people who are at risk, and that our county services are safe to access regardless of immigration status. At the end of the day, people should not be afraid of being kidnapped on the streets. They should not be afraid to go access groceries. I was picking up diapers for young moms because they were afraid to leave their houses during when ICE was here. Last year, which is insane. And the fact that there are reports that ICE and CBP may be coming back, we need to make sure that our law enforcement understands that their role is to protect the people in their community and not offer anything to ICE and CBP beyond what is, the most basic legal requirement.
Thank you. Adam.
Yeah, thank you for the question. And like Jessica said, right now it's obviously an important topic and conversation. And similar to the other candidates, right? Our local law enforcement is here to keep our community safe, to go out there and do the community policing. Make sure that our communities are safe for all of our neighbors. And what's happening with ICE and CBP right now across the country, and what happened here a few months ago in Charlotte is just somewhat unimaginable. But unfortunately, it seems to be an every week occurrence in a different city. But we are a Dillon rule state, right? We were cast down. Our directive from the state, and the HB 318 says our sheriffs have to unfortunately work with ICE and CBP in situations. But the number one focus for all of our local law enforcement should be keeping our communities safe for every neighbor. And the county's role is to make sure that all of our neighbors know what services the counties can provide. Like Jessica said, whether it's translation services or just access services, even connecting our neighbors with community service organizations that are out there to help them. That's the biggest role from a county perspective that we can do is be those facilitators of trust and making sure that people know they have access to services across the county that are here to help them and keep them safe.
Thank you. Morris.
Thank you for this. Now, let me say this. It is my belief that when it comes to a decision, I guess from county side of the sheriff, it would be the sheriff who would be the one that operating to state what action his deputies would be doing. To which, and I don't believe exactly, at least our current sheriff would not participate, but I don't believe that it's a role that plays between the county commissioner. But as an attorney, the way I would answer the question would be that law enforcement is here in order to adjust or to find probable cause and arrest associated with actual crimes found within our general statute, not federal crimes or codes, which deals with immigration. So I do agree with some of the other panelists. Our local law enforcement, whether it be the deputy sheriffs or the police officers, would not have any role associated and shouldn't. What scares me more as a civil rights attorney is that in California, there was a case which it somewhat lets you allow some form of racial discrimination and targeting. So because of that, my recommendation as a citizen, as an attorney, is that we shouldn't have anything to do with anything that's happened that we know are horrible associated with crimes all over the country, but I don't think we have a role.
Okay.
That was 90 seconds.
Thank you. Phil.
Yeah, in District 3, we have a high immigration population, and to the point of even my opponent, and I believe a couple other people said it, federal and state law certainly takes precedence, and I get that and I understand that. The only thing that I would say that I think a couple of people alluded to is that our local law enforcement is here to protect and serve, period. Now, how that works within the confines of the federal and the state laws, I can't answer that without digging into it deeper. But I find it hard to believe that local law enforcement's role disappears. It doesn't. I can't imagine that it disappears. So they are still there, sheriffs and CMPD, to protect and to serve. And I believe that there are opportunities for them to be there to do just that, even when ICE is, for example, going into an apartment complex. They're there to protect and serve. Protect and serve me. Protect and serve everyone else who is a citizen of this county. That's it.
Thank you, Phil. I'm unable to read any questions, Steve. Do we have any questions coming in?
As you
Yes,
may
I see
remember
I
from,
see them. I see the questions.
Okay. Would you
We
give?
have several. I would like to ask those who are putting questions in to state your name. It only says guest. So if you don't mind putting your name in so we know who's asking the question.
if you do
I
mind,
see.
however, we acknowledge that right to anonymity. Thank you.
Okay. Yes, I mean, if they don't mind. Let's see. I'm just gonna start with the first question. It is the county budget prioritizes education heavily. What are your top 2 to 3 specific outcomes you want to see improved for students? This says across District 1 and the county overall. So that would be for 1, 2, and 3. What are your top two to 3 specific outcomes you want to see improved for students across the county?
Okay, and we'll do it in this order. We'll take Phil, then Morris, then Adam, then Jessica, then George, and Monique. So, Phil, we'll start with you.
I think the first one is job readiness or college readiness, and making sure that we are maximizing the opportunities for our students to be ready to move forward after graduation. And I'm not sure that I can think of anything offhand that is more important to that. And I'm very pleased with the fact that we have so many different options and opportunities out there for our students to pursue a specific skill set, a specific craft. My son went to North Mech and he was in the IB program, and that was huge for him. And led him to go on, and now he's a graduate of Northwestern University, and he could not have done that without CMS being there to support him through that IB program the whole way. So I'd say that was the biggest thing. And then the second one is actually something that I've talked about a lot, and it's a concern of mine, is minimizing the crime in our schools. Allowing those that want to learn, are there to learn without the stress, concerns, fears. And I can tell you many stories told by my son on that. You make sure that we're enforcing the laws and utilizing some other avenues for kids that maybe aren't ready to be in our public school system, and maybe need to be on a different route. So those are the 2 things that I think that I would emphasize.
Okay. Thank you for that question. It's an excellent question. And I do keep in mind, I understand exactly that the county commissioner's role would be making sure that we work with CMS in regards of their budget associated with their needs. But I do believe that there's enough studies where we have to intervene with children, not only in District 1, but on entire Mecklenburg County, to make sure exactly that they're ready up to 3rd grade. So I would say my first would probably be early reading and math foundations, to make sure exactly that they have what they need, foundations to make sure that they matriculate and they can be competitive on the later grades. Second would probably be teacher retention. And I say that specifically about District 1 because I know in regards of affordability of housing, if there are teachers who want to live in my district, the housing prices are astronomical. And so we have to make sure exactly that we are intentional in addressing those needs and intentional to make sure exactly that our residents, that our educators are able to both teach in the district, but can also live in our district, which I would have to say exactly even compare. I mean, it is just absolutely some of the things that we hear, but those will be my two.
Okay, Adam.
Sure. Yeah. No, thank you for the question. And like I said in my opening remarks, right, education's a big piece of why I'm running. It's why I moved to the Highland Creek area. Um, and I think it starts with early childhood education. I think what Mecklenburg County is doing with the MEC Pre-K needs to be supported and needs to be expanded from a funding perspective, so that kids even the age of 3 or 2 have an equitable start to their education journey. Um, I think it also goes, like Morris said, making sure our educators feel financially secure with affordable housing options and competitive teacher pay. You know, Mecklenburg County and CMS had a great joint meeting just recently, and that was a big topic, was making sure that our supplement is increased to try to get our early teachers to that living wage level. And that starts really with the state, but we know the state right now is not doing it, right? So we need to make sure our teacher pay is there. And then I think third, we need to make sure, like Phil said, you know, that kids coming out of our public education here in Mecklenburg County have a path and job readiness. So that means CPC working with our local small businesses and businesses coming to the area to make sure that they have those on the job trainings right out of CPC, so they can go right into a living wage career and can call Mecklenburg home. So those are kind of the 2 or 3 things I would say from an education perspective. We need to work with CMS to make sure those things are in their budget, and we need to work with CPC to make sure that they're leveraging our local business community and providing classroom education that can translate right into good paying jobs.
Thank you, Jessica.
That's a great question. And I think it really starts with making sure that our money is getting into the hands of our schools, you know, starting with calling out our state to deploy the Leandro funding, and also ensuring that money marked for education is going towards education and not being directed elsewhere, like a public safety training facility. But first, I want to see stronger early and middle grade outcomes. That really starts with funding MEC Pre-K and ensuring that all children have access to equitable pre-K outcomes, literacy support, school-based services, so kids can actually learn where they show up. And I also want teachers and staff to stay in our schools. My mom is a teacher herself. She's been a teacher for 15, 20 years. And if it weren't for my dad being in that family, then we wouldn't be able to have my mother being a teacher. And I think that's an especially high need in District 1 schools. County funding needs to reduce turnover by supporting competitive supplements, classroom conditions, and safe, well-maintained buildings, not just these one-time painted over conditions. And then I also want students supported beyond the classroom, you know, reliable transportation, after school programs, safe third spaces. I had a conversation with former Mayor Jennifer Roberts recently about taking the easement spaces that the county owns and just turning them into community gardens to allow students to have that chance to build community, get their hands in the dirt, learn how to grow and reconnect with the environment. And it's an amazing chance for them to give back to their communities and also just create partnerships within each other so that the learning doesn't really stop at 3 p.m. So if we're going to be spending millions and billions of dollars on education, the outcome should be
Time is up.
kids ready to learn. Thank you so much.
Thank you, George. George.
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
So let me start off by saying I am happiest now with our school board than I have been in a long time. And because of the relationship that the school board and the county commission is building, I think each body now understands exactly what our role is as it relates to student performance. So I want to acknowledge that it is their responsibility, but it's primarily our responsibility to provide funding. With that funding, we do have some expectations. One, we want to ensure that every kid who comes out of CMS is college or career ready. The other thing we want to do is, as Jessica stated, is we want to focus on student outcomes. Is a student growing? Every kid is not going to progress at the same level, even if they're in the same grade level. But are they growing? Is there growth in their performance each year? Are they on a level 4 or level 5, or are they still on level 3? So if you think about what we expect, it is that growth being college and career ready, but it is still CMS's Board of Education who is responsible to see that all those things happen.
Thank you. Monifa?
Thank you so much for the question because I am very passionate about education. That is the pathway out, and that was the pathway out of my environment for me. So when we look at exactly the things that I would definitely support, when we look at District 2 has one of the lowest graduation rates in the county. And so we have significant issues. We also have the highest crime rate, one of the highest crime rates in the county. And so when we look at those things and the impact that it has on education, we have to really dig deep. And of course, as Commissioner Dunlap shared, our role is to ensure appropriate funding. However, it is also imperative that we ensure that the things that are needed, especially for District 2 students, are available. So the first thing is to make sure that there are pathways, whether you are graduating and planning on going to college or you are planning on going directly into a career, we need to make sure that those pathways are ready and available. That means partnering with different businesses and organizations within our city and our county to create those opportunities. I'm currently working with one of the largest workforce development agencies in Florida, discussing and planning and strategizing these career pathways for students to go directly into a job. The idea of college is the only way is no longer appropriate and it's no longer the reality. There are many opportunities to have a very thriving career. So we need to lean into that as well. Secondly, we can't expect anything to go well in the classroom if mental health and the mental health needs of our students are not met. So when I think about funding, especially for those in District 2, mental health is a critical issue within the inner city. Children born in the inner city.
Time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you all. I'm going to throw a question in, and it can take a simple answer, and I wish you would just say yes or no, or elaborate just for 30 seconds. Does Mecklenburg County benefit from more immigrants or fewer? And I will start with Adam.
Simple answer is yes. I mean, that's the beauty that drove me to Mecklenburg County 18 years ago, was the diversity of not only our urban area and our green space, but also the residents. So simple answer is yes, we benefit from having more people of diversity in our community.
Okay, George.
Yes.
Okay, and Monifa.
Absolutely. When we look at a few months ago, well, a couple of months ago, last month, when ICE was here, we saw our city stop because we have so many immigrants who lend to the development and to the growth of our city. And when we saw what happened and they stopped showing up for work, that was a significant detriment to our city. So we absolutely need our immigrant population for many reasons in our community.
Okay, Phil.
Just real briefly, diversity matters. And I love the diversity that we have here in District 3. And I want more.
Morris.
Yes, when we embrace our diversity, we embrace our strength. So absolutely.
Jessica.
I think everybody said it perfectly. Yes, absolutely. We don't get businesses like Manolo's and people who are supporting our communities without immigrants.
Okay. Mary, do you have the next question?
Yes, we do. We have quite a few questions that have come in. This one is for Commissioner Leak and Monifa Drayton. But Commissioner Leak is not on, but I will ask it for the part that is for Monifa. How do you see yourself working with Councilwoman Leak should you be elected to District 2?
Okay, thank you so much for that. And just to clarify, is Commissioner Lee? She is our commissioner. She's not on the city council side. But I love this question because I've consistently said, and I sincerely mean this, that if I should win this opportunity and have the opportunity to serve as your next commissioner, I am, and I will say this now, and I am committed to ensuring that her legacy continues. I have done this consistently. I helped with the Catherine Wilson, making sure that her name was and her legacy was memorialized. I've done this with several. Atrium Health, I started a program called Heart Matters in honor of my friend who passed at 41 years old, collapsed from total heart failure. And the things that Commissioner Leak has done in this community will never be erased. And I will ensure and stand on the fact that she's an icon and she is a legend, and her legacy through me will continue and through our community will continue. I love that question because I'm committed to saying and confirming that she will not be forgotten. And not only will she not be forgotten, she will be uplifted every opportunity that I have.
Thank you. Okay, the next question is from Kimberly Owens of District 6. How do you view the importance of intergovernmental relationships, and what would you add to the interaction between state and city leadership?
I
That's for
can I take
everybody.
that? Okay,
Mhm.
all right. I think that it is critical when we talk about intergovernmental relationships, and I'm thankful because I do have great relationships with both the city and state officials. Actually, two of our state representatives are endorsing me in this campaign. And so when we look at intergovernmental, I'll give you an example, and I shared this prior. I worked with the city council to ensure that the community area plans for District 2 were equitable. The way that interfaces with county commission is because if the city creates plans that will damage the health of District 2, we have to be able to have that conversation. I've been the campaign strategist for several of our city council members, and I am confident that our relationship is still very much sustainable, but we have to be able to work across the aisles because they are not siloed. It's not a siloed governance. It can't be because one decision will impact the other side. So again, when I look at any decision that the city council, whether it is rezoning, whether it is transportation, it will impact the quality of life for the people.
Mary,
No.
you have another question?
Well, that
What
question was for
was that?
not just one person.
Okay.
If anybody else wants to tackle that about intergovernmental relationships.
I mean, I'll chime in. I don't know if we've lost the. Are we still going in a certain order? I can chime in now.
It's open.
We've talked about this in a couple of other debates, and intergovernmental relationships, as Ms. Drayton said, it's got to change, it's got to evolve, it's got to expand. And so on the one hand, you've got the county commission, which has a specific state legislative agenda that they present to state lawmakers or put together for state lawmakers on an annual basis. In my opinion, it needs to be a lot more detailed than what I've seen. I would like to see it a lot more detailed, but that's maybe for a different discussion. But then locally, you've got things like our transportation planning organization, CRTPO, think was mentioned earlier, when you've got CMS and Mecklenburg County kind of starting to work together. And what I talk about on my website, carryfor3.com, is really starting to drill down on that even more. And we've seen that a little bit, but I want to see it across the entire county. So for example, if there's an issue on Sugar Creek, I want to, as a District 3 representative, call up the District 2 or the District City Council member that covers that same area and the CMS board member that covers that same area to have those talks on a regular basis. And I want to see all of us doing that throughout the county, but specifically for my county or for my district, that's what I want to see on a regular basis. And starting from there. So intergovernment relationships are just going to expand, become more and more. And quite frankly, I think one of the upsides of that is that some of these marathon meetings that happen will be short.
Time.
Yep.
So I'll just chime in. I think when we start talking about issues like this, it's important to know just what we're already doing. And it's clear that a lot of people don't know. Under my chairmanship, we started an intergovernmental relations committee. And the purpose of that committee was to establish relationship with our state legislators, with CMS and the city to talk about issues where we could work together collectively. That committee still exists for that purpose.
Okay, Mary.
Okay, this question is from Amina. Economic development often sounds good on paper, but families still struggle with affordability. How would you make sure growth actually benefits long-established residents?
Who wants to take that?
Well, I will just say that as a person who supports our Economic Development Committee and former chair of the Economic Development Committee, I think some people really don't understand exactly what we do. But our role is to attract people and businesses to our community for that purpose of growth. So we have certain expectations of companies that move to Charlotte. We talk about their involvement in the community. We want to make sure that they hire people with second chance opportunities. We want to make sure that they have a pay scale that would attract people who are underemployed or on the low end of the scale. Uh, there are a lot of things that we expect of companies that relocate here. And when they come, they do bring businesses. So we also have opportunities for them to participate with Central Piedmont. So members of our community can go to CPCC, learn the skill set that that business brings so that they can apply and move up. In addition to that, we have a minimum wage, which is right now $22 an hour. We're hoping to soon get that up to 26. So there are a lot of things that we're doing to make sure our community grows. And one of the biggest things is that it reduces the tax rate that our citizens would have to pay if the corporations and businesses were not here.
Okay. You've addressed this, but I like to ask this question. If you are elected, and that you've mentioned this, but I like to hear it and be real precise on your answer. If you're elected, what would you do to ensure that every person can realize their rights and live with dignity in Mecklenburg County? Now, who would like to answer that first?
I don't mind answering that. So I do want to, if I may just quickly go back to the other question, I'll jump to that one if it's okay. So when we talk about, and this actually does align with the question, when we talk about economic development and what is needed for our city, that also aligns with this question. So number one, if we want to ensure that everybody has a piece of the pie in this community, we have to make sure that when businesses are coming into this community, that they are required to hire and to ensure that people who live here have a job. You do that by including that in contracts. That is not in every single contract of every single business. Can you force people to do it? No, but there are incentives to make sure that that happens. When we talk about how do we ensure that people are a part, people realize their opportunity, we have to get people engaged. I continuously hear elected officials say, "Oh, I must be doing a great job because no one runs against me." That's not true. That it means that we have a very disengaged community and a very disengaged electorate. So when we talk about how do we ensure that people realize that their opportunity, it is to make sure that they're engaged. We have the lowest voter turnout we come in 99 out of 100 in the entire state of North Carolina, 59%. Last election was 18%, 22% voter turnout. So when we want people to realize their opportunity and how they can thrive, we've got to get them engaged. That is the very first step. We also have to make sure that they have opportunity. That is the responsibility of our elected officials, creating opportunities, ensuring that jobs, ensuring that the education system works. So I hope that answers your question. And whoever asked that question, thank you. Phenomenal question.
Okay. Does anyone else want to address that?
Can I
Just add, if I can just add one thing, and this is going to be real brief, because I agree with a good amount of what has been said. But the one thing that I don't think was really discussed was the emphasis that we need to have on mixed use and mixed income housing. And I know it's on the rise, but I think that has to be a part in order for us to get the solution for all citizens to be able to have the opportunities that they need. And then the second part is when we're talking about the businesses that are coming in. And look, there's been some great businesses coming in. Hey, congratulations. These are average six-figure salaries and that sort of thing. There are some companies, especially one in Huntersville, and the name escapes me now, but the average, I believe, at that time when they came in was like 60,000 or something like that. So let's make sure that we're celebrating, encouraging, and promoting companies across the spectrum to come in. I think we're doing that a little bit, but let's not forget the little guy on that particular issue.
Yeah, and just
I'd also
real
like
quick,
to.
go ahead, Jessica. We'll let you go first.
Thanks, and I'll keep it brief too. But I think along with what everybody else is saying is the county and the state have all of this money that people don't know about that can get in their hands so easily. And I think something that we need to invest more in is ensuring that people are educated about the funds that are available so that they can stay in their homes, so that they can have good paying jobs, whether it's something like the low income energy assistance program, whether it's I created a website called Energy Funds for All that breaks down all of the money in North Carolina through the Inflation Reduction Act that people can access to lower their energy bills, insulate their homes, whether it's putting solar panels on bus stops so people can charge their phones. There's all of this money available that we're not utilizing enough, that because people don't know about it, because people are afraid to ask for government assistance. And by making these spaces more comfortable and accessible, I think we can allow for people to put roots down in Mecklenburg County and stay here long term and allow their families to grow here.
Yeah, and what I was going to add, again, along the same vein as everybody else, right, is Mecklenburg County needs to be a facilitator. We need to be able to facilitate those conversations between those groups that are already calling Mecklenburg home and the opportunities that are coming here, whether that be through some of our county assistance programs or working with businesses in the community or coming to the community to make sure that there's living wage opportunities throughout the spectrum. It's great to have new companies coming to Charlotte and seeking Charlotte as home or Mecklenburg County as home. But we need to make sure that those opportunities aren't just centered around uptown Charlotte. We need to find those districts and those areas throughout the county and work with those companies to grow and thrive throughout the county, just not centered around Charlotte, because we know as traffic continues to grow, it's not going to be feasible for everybody, in the northern part of Mecklenburg County to drive down to uptown Charlotte every time for a job. So we need to continue to work with our local businesses to put those opportunities right at people's doorsteps.
Can I have my 90 seconds?
Yes.
Okay. So just adding to that, and I agree with everyone when it comes to economic development. One of the things that I think we have to understand exactly that we do have a responsibility duty to the 1.2 million Mecklenburg residents who live here, those that are underemployed or unemployed. That's what makes our county better. It doesn't help if in fact we're bringing jobs here and the only one to benefit are those that are transit and moving into Mecklenburg County. It just adds to the affordability issues of the other individuals who don't have fair wages, who don't have affordable homes, who don't have transportation issues. So I do believe exactly that, and I agree with everyone. You can't force companies, but yes, it's the devil's in the detail. It's the incentives. It's what we provide, and it's what we learn from other situations we've had when promises were made and in fact, those were not kept. So we do have to recognize exactly if we're going to address wages and we're going to address unemployment and equity, we have to make sure that we recognize the responsibility to the 1.2 million Mecklenburg County residents that live here today.
Mary, do you have a question?
Can I interrupt for a minute? Mary, do you know, based on how many questions we have, because we're at the 9:30 mark, do we need to go to a
Okay,
minute?
we have, wait a minute. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 more questions so far.
Okay, we can stick to a minute and a half. And Laura, might I suggest that you kind of tell them the order that they're going to answer, because I think they're having a hard time getting in because they're all muted.
Okay, will do. Mary, you want to ask the question and then I'll.
Okay, this question is from Leroy Ray. What role does the county play in recruiting, retaining, and supporting high-quality teachers and school leaders?
And we'll start with George and then Adam. Is George still
The
with
role, I'm still here.
us? Okay.
The role we play is to fund CMS so that they have the resources to do just that. In addition to that, one of the things that we do to help with recruiting is we have increased teacher pay at county expense. Again, CMS is a state-run school district, but the county spends more than $400 million over and above to fund CMS. So when it comes to recruiting and retaining employees, the best thing we can do is fund CMS so that they can do just that.
Okay, Adam.
Yeah, like George said, right? CMS is a state-funded school district, but we know the state's not doing their fair share. Like George said, we're putting, I believe, the budget for 2026 is around $700 million towards CMS, and a big chunk of that is teacher pay supplement, and we've got a gap to close there. So we need to continue to work with CMS and continue to use those intergovernmental relationships to force the state and help get the state to see that we need to fund our teachers more. But I think at the county level also, we need to look at some of those wraparound services that we can provide, whether it be access to affordable housing, like Morris said earlier, in our community. So teachers don't have to drive across the county. They can just drive down the block and get to school. Because we know when our teachers aren't feeling like they can afford to live in their community, they're not focused on providing our children the best education they can. So all that we can do from a wraparound services perspective as a county to help our teachers and retain our teachers, and working with CMS and the state to make sure the funding is there. Those are the most important things that the county can do right now to make sure that we recruit and retain the most high quality teachers and support staff we can for CMS and all of our public schools.
Okay, Jessica.
We want to highlight what everybody else has been saying, and while the county doesn't hire teachers directly, it does play that critical role where we can recruit and retain high quality teachers. And it's one of those situations where, if we can't support our local communities, then we're not gonna be able to support our teachers. And that's kind of where things start to fall apart. And while the county controls a major share of school funding, that funding affects teacher supplements, classroom resources, working conditions, and those competitive supplements matter, especially in high cost areas like District 1, where housing affordability directly impacts whether teachers can stay. And that can start with putting affordable housing on lines where there is access to public transportation. At the end of the day, everything is really connected. We can't have transportation justice without economic justice, without housing justice. And so that really all comes together here. And the county can also invest in the ecosystem around teaching. That includes, again, funding that affordable housing partnerships, mental health support in schools, not just for students, but for teachers. And then again, like I said, those childhood programs like the MEC Pre-K, like creating those third spaces for students so that they can build community, and also helps, reduce burnout and improve classroom stability for teachers. The county can be a strong partner and advocate, but that, also means working collaboratively with CMS, with those teacher pipelines through CPCC and local universities, and again, pushing the state to lift those barriers around pay, class sizes, support staff. We want great teachers to stay, and we have to make Mecklenburg County a place where teaching is sustainable, not just admired, but also supported, so that people want to stay here and want to invite their friends to come stay here, and they can live and work in the place where they teach.
Okay, Phil.
Yeah, this question actually goes way beyond just funding. When you look at the county commission, yes, of course, from a budgetary standpoint, that's what they do. Roughly 45% was the last number I saw, but that obviously includes CPCC and a little bit for charter and a couple other things. But it's more about not just the funding, but it's the quality of life, not just for the teacher, but for their family. It's them feeling safe. These are things that the county has a direct impact on, whether it's park and recs, making sure that we've got wonderful parks, making sure our transportation is top notch, all right? Entertainment, whether it's sports, the arts, whatever. These are things that the county has a direct impact on. At least most of these things have a direct impact on, and that helps with recruiting. So let's make sure that we're not just looking at this from a funding perspective, and we're looking at this from a full quality of life perspective for that teacher and their significant other and their kids who want to come here and then stay, not just because the money is good, but because they're happy, they're safe, and there are things that they can do and get to conveniently. Thank you.
Okay, Morris, did you want to add to the
Yes,
comment?
I won't do it long though. No, I agree with everyone. The responsibility is in regards of funding, making sure we address and funding the budget for CMS, which we can advocate for, and we can ask for to make sure to address the needs of our teachers, staff, which also includes even our school bus drivers. But we have to recognize what the reality is, and that is that our teachers are different in regards of their affordability and cost of living compared to other county teachers. So we do have to recognize that, and we've done the right thing to make sure exactly that we provide those supplements. But unfortunately, that's the job of the county commissioner, and that's the right job at this particular time, understanding that we will not have that relief from state government.
Okay, and Monifa.
Thank you for the question. So when we look at the current state and we look at recruitment, so of course, county commission doesn't have direct impact on recruiting teachers. However, we do have the impact where we can create a system to make sure that it is attractive for them to come here. So the first thing is local salary and supplements, making sure that that the salaries are competitive. The reality is that teachers cannot afford to live in Charlotte. Based on their current salary. I chair the Mecklenburg Alcoholic Beverage Control Board. We have several teachers who work as cashiers in our stores just to make ends meet. And so we have to really, that is our role. We have to make it very competitive for teachers to want to be here. When we also look at the safety of schools, what are we doing to ensure that the schools are safe so that teachers feel safe? And then also just the state of the building, just how attractive are the buildings? If we have to show a teacher that their classroom will be inside of a trailer with no air condition in July, will they choose to come here or will they choose to go to a neighboring county? So we have to make sure that the entire system, their quality of life when they move here to teach is there. I also met with one of the pastors who's building affordable housing specifically to include teachers so that they can live there in those homes. We have to make it so that teachers can live here. They don't have to work at other stores and restaurants just to make ends meet. And that also transportation, they can get to and from their school and feel
Time.
safe in the classroom.
Okay, thank you. I just like to remind our listening audience that we usually take announcements. So we will not be taking the announcements, but you can send your announcements to Steve Johnston. That's Johnston with an S at TuesdayForumCharlotte.org. for any announcements that you will have. We only have about 20 more minutes. And Mary, we want to take another question, and then we would allow them to do closing statements. Okay, Mary?
I'm going in the order that the questions were submitted like we normally do, so we will not get to all of the questions. The proposed red line will go through County District 1. What should local government do to counter the displacement of families that has happened with the blue line?
And we'll start with George.
Thank you for that question. The red line is mostly already there because it uses existing tracks. So anybody who would have been displaced would have already been displaced long before those tracks are there. The one thing I will tell you is that there's been a tremendous amount of community input. I will tell you that now that we do have our advisory board established, they will continue to listen to the concerns expressed by the citizens of Mecklenburg County, and they will do everything they can within their power to mitigate any negative impacts that might exist in this community, whether it be around housing, whether it be around communities, or just where people shop, whatever the case is. But just know that people are still listening to hear what those concerns are, and they plan to address them.
Morris, you have any comments?
Yes. So when this started, meaning when the vote that ultimately the voters made a decision to allow this particular expansion or allow the transit authority vote, which includes the expansion, I have in my notes that there was both city and county has indicated that there were allotments there to address those such issues. I remember, and so yes, it would be obviously my duty to make sure that those promises are not broken. But I can tell you this: when we look at the chairperson, which is David Howard, who's there, we have people that you can definitely lean on and you can count on. It's going to make sure that those disparagements that may have happened in past in history will be addressed properly. And I'll be there to make sure exactly that it happens correctly for all of the citizens in District 1.
Okay, Monifa.
Thank you for this question. So, and this is a question I'm passionate about because currently the red line where they are designing for the red line to come through, there's a community within District 2 and a little bit outside. Well, it is in District 2. We're calling it North Inner, where the red line it goes directly past several communities, 6 miles past I'll just say Black communities. And so we took a look at how is that equitable. When we talk about anti-displacement, there are several strategies within Charlotte's UDO and the 2040 plan to ensure that as we develop, that we don't displace community. And so I've actually been in conversation with David Howard about this specific red line issue, because as it continues to develop, we have to make sure that things around it are developing appropriately, not displacing residents. Displacement is a significant issue in District 2, and that is, I am standing firm on making sure that as we grow, as we develop, that we don't carry the burden of displacement. And so we have to just make sure that we're creating policies and programs and adhering to the policies that are already in place. We see a lot of that happen where we have policies and they're not adhered to when we start to develop. We have to make sure that we are watchdogs to make sure that we adhere to what is in place to protect anti-displacement.
Okay, Jessica.
Yeah, I'm happy that some of the infrastructure is already there. I'm a big reduce, reuse, recycle girly as an environmental justice advocate, but I think we need to take the lessons from the Blue Line and make sure that they're implemented for all future public transportation developments, whether it is the Red Line or anything that we put together in the future. And that is in acting before construction starts. That means using county land and funding now to preserve and create that deeply affordable housing along the Red Line corridor, especially near future stations, so that residents aren't priced out by speculation. It's that collaboration with community organizations like the Housing Justice Coalition, who has partnerships with people on the ground and understands people who have already been priced out just from renting, not even just home ownership. And it's also tying those investments to anti-displacement protections like property tax relief, repair assistance for longtime homeowners, targeting support for renters, and that continued partnership with those nonprofits that can acquire and hold land permanently for community use. And I also think we need to implement more community benefit agreements where public dollars are involved. That's local hiring, affordable commercial space for small businesses, clear affordability set-asides that last. And we need transparency and accountability on all levels. If we're going to be using tax dollars for this, the county needs to track the displacement risk neighborhood by neighborhood and adjust investments in real time, not years later, so that we see the outcomes now and not something that our children are going to have to deal with.
Okay, Adam.
Yeah. We obviously need to learn from the Blue Line. I think there was a lot of good that we saw with the Blue Line, but there was also a lot of bad that came with the development and growth, displacing a lot of those communities along the Blue Line and the Blue Line extension. So yes, the tracks are there for the Red Line to come. But there are also very significant neighborhoods along those tracks, like Pottstown in Huntersville, and we need to make sure that we're working with those communities well in advance to understand their needs, and make sure that they understand the safeguards that are in place that the county has already, and then maybe the county needs to create to make sure that those residents aren't pushed out of their longtime homes. We also need to make sure that we're building a strong coalition. We have 3 towns and Charlotte up here in North Mecklenburg that will be impacted by the Red Line when it does come. So we need to plan ahead. We have to make sure that we have a strong, cohesive UDO that plans that corridor and make sure that we identify those risk factors, like Jessica said, to make sure that we have those coalitions and programs in place well in advance to the development that comes, because we know there is going to be pressure for developers to come in and buy up those lands. So anything the county can do to either purchase lands ahead of time and safeguard those for future community developments, or even working with local homeowners to find pathways to make sure that they understand tax reliefs that they may have, because we do have another valuation coming up in 2027, and it's going to be impacted by this future development that the new transit tax is going to bring. So, thank you.
Okay, Phil.
Yeah, I think just a couple of quick points. Number one, I'm glad Pottstown was mentioned, because that's probably one of the bigger neighborhoods or communities that could possibly be negatively impacted. To that point, I believe Mr. McAdoo might have been the one that said it, but I think Charlotte City Council has already set aside a significant amount of money to kind of help with that issue. And it may just be that a discussion needs to be had with possibly even the Huntersville Town Board to step up and do the same thing up there. The one thing I do want to emphasize, and I'm very passionate about this because I'm seeing it in District 3 as I'm walking the neighborhoods, is that displacement isn't just a light rail issue. And I want to make sure that we are not sitting here utilizing displacement and the light rail and saying, hey, let's protect the communities around the light rail, when it is happening everywhere. It is happening everywhere. And I have made this very clear in a recent writing to one of the other organizations. And I'm going to make it clear here right now. If we don't do something about this, the Black communities are going to disappear. And that is very important to me, and it should be important to all of us. And we have to do something about it, whether that's trying to incorporate more mixed use, mixed income, a combination of that with education, making sure you're not selling grandma's house for $10. But we've got to start doing some things and doing them differently, and set the alarms now for what is already happening, even outside of the light rail corridor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Now, we're getting close to our 10 o'clock hour, so we have about 12 minutes, and I'd like to ask you all to just reiterate, each one of you, what your priority issue is, just one, and how would you address it if you're elected? And we're going to start with Monifa.
Okay, that's difficult. That's a difficult question because I'm in District 2, and we indeed are not the most powerful district right now, but I'm prepared to get us there. But when I look at what is the most significant issue in our community right now, Dr. King said, out of all of the forms of inequality, injustice in healthcare is the most shocking and inhumane. When you look at the healthcare, which is something called social determinants, when you look at the health of the people in our community, that is impacted by housing, that is impacted by safety, that is impacted by food, that is impacted by sidewalks. So we have to really take a look at access to healthcare to ensure that the people are well. In District 2, our babies are being born at low birth weight more than any other babies in the county. Our mothers are not getting prenatal care. Less than 50% are getting prenatal care. We have the highest rates of asthma, chronic illness, and disease. We can't do anything else until the health of the people are well. And so when I look at what is the most pressing issue, aside from safety, housing, and food access, it is to keep the people well and healthy so that we can build upon the other things.
Okay. Thank you, George.
So I've been around a long time, and the four issues that I started with are the same four issues that I stick with, and there are reasons why we do that. This is because we do surveys within the community. We didn't just pull these things out of the air. The community said these are the things that are important to us. And so our Board of County Commission has addressed those issues. But if I could choose one that I would focus on, it would be affordable housing. We've talked a lot about how many people are moving to our community. We've talked about what's happening with our teachers. We've talked about what's happening with the existing populations. Affordable housing, we're now, I think, maybe 40,000 homes short. If we don't do something about that, we are going to displace people, as I've heard the word used quite often, because people aren't going to be able to live here. And so if there's a one issue that I would focus on more than anything else, it would be making sure that housing is available, especially for the least of these.
All right, Jessica.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with that. My priority is housing stability because housing is the foundation for everything else: education, health, safety, economic opportunity. And in District 1 and across Mecklenburg County, too many families are just one rent increase or one repair away from displacement. I mean, over 40% of Mecklenburg County residents are cost burdened or paying more than 30% of their income on housing. And the county has real tools to change that. And I want to prioritize expanding those affordable and workforce housing, investing in repair and tax relief programs so long-term residents can stay in their homes and use county land to fund and lock in deep affordability near transit and jobs. We need people to know about these target housing assistance programs or the homes program or low income energy assistance programs, funds for insulation, investing in community benefit agreements, things that are all these scary terms that like government officials know and candidates know, but individuals don't know. And if we don't get this education in people's hands, if we don't use this funding, we're going to waste it and it's going to go into the ether and people are just going to continue to suffer because we haven't put in the place to educate our communities on how they can stay here long term. So that is a huge goal of mine. I will be involved in our community and making sure that they know what's available to them. And that's going to be the first thing that I do when we hit the ground running.
Okay, Adam. Adam.
Yeah. And like I said in my opening remarks, access, right? But if I had to drill that down, right, is similar to Jessica and George, is access to affordable housing. And it's not just affordable rental apartments or rentable townhomes or rentable homes, right? We see the affordability across the gamut. And we know that one of the greatest pathways to building long-term wealth is owning your home, right? So I think affordability in our housing and stability in our county, it's a nationwide thing, but in our county, we see it because we're growing so much. So from a county commission perspective, one of my number one issues is making sure that we have systems in place, whether it be tax relief or critical home repair, to make sure residents that are here in the county know we have programs to help them keep housing affordability. or keeping their housing affordable. But then it's also working with developers and looking at those densities, those UDOs, to help reduce the costs for new apartments being built. There's bills being passed right now at the state to help kind of relieve the parking requirements. So we need to use our intergovernmental relationships to get those those rights, those abilities from the state to work with our developers to ease the burden of building costs so that we can have more units available, and work with our developers to make sure that we have those subsidies and those programs in place so that there's affordable rents in those new developments. So it runs a gamut, but affordable housing is probably our biggest issue right now, so that we don't have people being displaced and we don't have a rising unhoused issue that we're seeing right now in Mecklenburg County. So housing affordability is my number one issue.
Okay, Morris.
Yes, I say affordability, which includes part of that affordable housing, access to transportation, access to jobs. Um, what's so exciting about this time in the county commission is our county manager has roles associated with economic mobility. We know that there's been studies associated where just in the city of Charlotte, if you die poor, or excuse me, if you were born poor or in poverty, more than likely you will die poor or in poverty. And so having make sure exactly that we are addressing those issues when it comes to workforce development, training, that is the type of county that we should have. That's the kind of leadership that we currently have, and I'm here ready to support that, to make sure exactly that we are bettering the lives, just not of a few, and not just of those who move here, but of all Mecklenburg County residents.
Okay, and Phil.
Well, I have to say, in District 3, crime is a close second, but affordability usurps that easily. Outside of what everybody else has said, the only thing that I would probably add is that affordability isn't just residential; it's commercial also. And we've got a lot of small businesses that have disappeared um, due to large developers coming in and bulldozing. And so the emphasis to me, and I know there's certain areas of the county and even in District 3 that don't want it, and they don't all have to have it. But multi-use and multi-income at this point it's mandatory. It's got to be that way. And that is no disrespect, no disregard to the Grove Park area of District 3, because I know that they are very adamant to not have density in their community, and I respect that. But there are other parts of District 3 that need it and need it bad. And so when it comes to affordability, I just want to make sure that we're not leaving out our small businesses, whether they're renting or buying. And making sure that there's office space that fits their needs, instead of the $2,000 month, the 2,000 square foot monstrosities. But let's make sure that we've got something for everybody in our district and in our county.
Okay, thank you all so much. Now, I'd like to just reiterate what I've heard and to you about what your priorities are. And so that means that whoever is elected in this election coming up, you've already shared with us that housing and affordability is going to be central and a priority. So we expect you to speak about it when you get on the council, whoever is elected, and for those that will be remaining on there to do that also. So for 30 seconds, we're going to start with Phil with your closing statement for 30 seconds, Phil.
30 seconds. Oof. My name's Phil Carey. I am asking to be your next District 3 County Commissioner. Yes, leadership matters. Yes, experience matters. And everybody on this panel has it. I'd like to claim there's some blueprint, but we all know there's not. And we all come with a specialty. My biggest difference will be I want to be feet on the ground, hands on the ground, in the neighborhoods, in the communities. I think that's what District 3 needs right now. And that's what I'm prepared to do.
Thanks.
I appreciate your support. Thank
you. Monifa?
Thank you all so much. Again, I'm Mo Drayton, running for District 2. All of my responses and my focus is because I live in between the men's homeless shelter and the women's homeless shelter. And so I have a plan called the D2 plan, which P is for protection of homeowners in historic communities, livability, to make sure that we have access to environmental resilience. A is for access to food, and N is for neighborhood engagement. We have to make sure that our communities are engaged. And so when I say access to healthcare, nothing else works if people are not well. Housing does not work. Transportation does not work. We have to make sure that people are well. So access to housing.
Time.
Yep. Thank you.
Okay, Morris.
Yes, thank you so much for having me. As you know, I want to make sure everyone understands exactly what our campaign. Affordability is about dignity, and community means that people are not sacrificed in the name of progress. I'm running with 20 years of experience fighting for families, holding institutions accountable, and making sure that voices are too often overlooked that are actually heard. I ask for your support, and again, Morris McAdoo for District 1.
Okay, George.
Thank you again. Public service is my passion. I'm a lifetime public servant. Proven leadership. I've served you well. I pray you continue to allow me to represent you. Thank you so much.
Adam.
Thank you again, Tuesday Morning Forum. Appreciate you dusting off this WebEx for us. My campaign isn't just about a seat on county commission. It's a commitment I made years ago as an advocate to ensure every community group has a voice shaping the future of Mecklenburg County. We have to ensure our county's growth creates rising tides that actually lift all boats. And I'm committed to being that partner that doesn't just show up during election season, but stands with you to hold the county accountable. Whether it's ensuring our schools are fully funded or our neighborhoods remain affordable or our county services reach every person that need it. So I thank you again for the opportunity and look forward to engaging more as this campaign moves on. Thank you.
And Jessica.
Yes, thank you again for everyone who has put this together today. It's so important to have these opportunities to speak with candidates and elected officials. I have a proven track record of helping get government funding in community hands, lowering people's energy bills, and allowing them to stay in their homes long term. I have been on the ground organizing rallies, marching with my neighbors, door knocking, phone banking, and standing up for my community. And truly, this is the next step for that as an organizer. I will be a voice for the voiceless and ensure our community organizations get the funding and support they need to survive. The community I was raised in taught me that the world we inherit is not the world we are obligated to accept. And I will not accept, people not surviving every day in our county. And I will work every day to make sure that they can truly thrive. Thank you so much.
Let's give them a round of applause. Yay. Thank you all for coming on. We appreciate it. And this has been interesting. And we look forward to those that will be elected. And we keep in mind, we've taped everything that you said this morning. And we can go back and check to see if you're doing once you're elected. So thanks again. And you all have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Thank
Take care.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Great job, Steve and Shay.
Steve, Winston.
Yeah, I'm gonna stay back in the shadows. I just wanted to echo the sentiments of Natalie. Great job.
Ain't no shadow big enough to cover you, Winston.
Unmute yourself, Steve. You're talking. We can't hear you.
I just said we will stop broadcasting to Australia momentarily.
We gotta see the tennis.
Okay, that was done. All right, you all. We have to
Great
bring
job, Ms. McClellan. Great job, Miss Johnson.
Thank you. Listen, see, we have to bring you a cup of coffee at Tuesday Forum. Y'all did a great job. Shay, Shay, you drink coffee too, don't you? But
Yeah,
anyway,
I almost.
thank you. We did it. I guess Jackie had a problem getting in. But thank you. Amir, do we have many more questions left?
Yeah, we have quite a few. I think a minute and a half was a little long.
Let me
but-
interrupt. The live stream is still on. So Shay, if you would look for your ability to turn it off, that would be great. It's under that round circle next to the big red X. And because I'm no longer presenter and host, I can't turn it off.
Let's see, step.
Thing to comply. Give me 1 second.
Okay. But anyway, so we know we can do this again, you all, because we got the experts that can do this for us if something else comes up.
I think you have to turn it off, not me.
Okay. Could you
Oh,
please
never
make
mind.
me
I mean, if I hit the X, we're all out, so that'll end it. But you could also end it on the site.
I would prefer to
to read.
keep the meeting going, but turn off the live stream first.
So you'll have to do that.
Would you make me the host and presenter, please?
It's not turned. Ken said he can still hear us.
Yes, of course, Ken can. We would not want him to record anything that we say.
You hear Steve?
So I will just.
Steve, I think you have to do it from the
Okay,
website.
I'm going to. Then I'm going to stop the recording and
Yes,
then
we can.
close the meeting. Thank you all for being present.
Yeah, text any comments you have. We can text without Ken Kuntz.
Okay, I will.
Bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye. I'm trying to leave, Shay.
Hey, Laura, you talking to me?
I'm trying to leave and it won't let me leave.
You trying to leave?
I'm trying to leave the meeting.
Hang on, Steve's calling.